Hi, I'm Kitty from Untitled Beads, and I want to show you how to make these lovely sparkly bracelets. The basis is chainmail, and then you're going to secure your beads on there with a piece of tiger tail. So it's perfect for beginners because even if your technique closing the individual links are not that great, your bracelet is going to hold up and not fall apart at all. So let me show you how are these done. So the material is what you're going to need. You're going to need some 8mm crystal bicone beads. You're going to need, I use the magnetic clasp here because I quite like it. So if I just bring this one back in here quite like it. It's very easily you can put it on and take it off. I think it's just a great, magnetic clasp are just great for any bracelets, what you do. You're going to need these little horseshoe shaped findings. They are actually called wire protectors, and I'm gonna show you how to use them later on. You're gonna need some crimp beads. You're gonna need some jump rings. Now jump rings generally come closed in your bag, but it's a very good preparation tip for you to open them up and just leave them like that, because it will be so easy to pick up your rings afterwards. And then you're gonna need some split rings. Now split rings are same as jump rings, but they've been going around a couple of times, as you can see. We're not going to open this up. We're just using this on our bracelet as they are. You also need a couple of pliers. Now I got a chain nose and a flat nose here. You can have a couple of chain nose. It's up to you what you have at home. And a couple of pieces of tiger tail, not too long, about a foot in length. So, how to start? The first thing what you need to know is how to open a jump ring. Now, as I said, jump rings are like these little circles with the little cut right at the top. You're going to hold this with 2 pairs of pliers. Now, I'm trying to support the ring, so I'm holding it as much as I can, and I'm going to twist one towards me and the other one away. This is how you open it. If you pull it apart, you will be never able to get it back to the nice round shape. So first what you have to do is put 3 of the split rings into your open jump ring, just like that. 1, 2, and the third one. And then you're going to close it back in. So closing it back in, you're reversing what you've done. You're pushing, like twisting them back in a line. Now once you get to where they meet, I guess, you always just take it past a little bit and it will spring back shut. So far we got a jump ring with 3 of these split rings on. Now you're going to pick up your next jump ring. This is really comes in handy when you pre-open your jump rings. And I'm going to put it through one of these split rings. Then I'm going to add a further 3 split ring on here. 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to close it back in. Now from this point you need to locate which split ring you need to put through your next jump ring. So it's always the middle one. So if I put it down, I can probably easily show it to you. So I got 2 at the bottom, then I got my jump ring here, then I got 1, 2, 3, 4 split rings, and I'm joined. You have to have 1 free one either side, and the top and the bottom one are gonna be what we join it with jump rings. Again, it's great if you open your jump rings because I can just go and pick one up and put it on, put my work on as I go along, then add a further 3 split rings and close it back in. Now you need to repeat this quite a few times until you get like a chain of these rings. I need about 21 for my wrist, which is about 7.5, 8 inches. If you are a little bit smaller, then do maybe 19. Just get it the right way around. Then 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to close it back in. So carry on until you get to the other end, and then I'll show you how to do the next step. Right, so here I'm just adding my last jump ring. Now I only need to add 2 of the split rings this time because I want to match what I did at the beginning and close it back in. So when you count it, how many jump rings you have on your, or when you count, when I say how many rings do you have on your chainmail here, I'm only counting the jump ring. I'm not counting the split ring between it. So I got 21 jump rings on here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way along, and you got 21 just right here. Now we're not going to need the jump rings anymore, so I'm just going to put them to the side, and we're going to start adding the lovely crystals into our bracelet. So take your tiger tail, put a crimp bead on there, and you're going to take one of these wire protectors. As it goes like little tubes at the bottom, and you can see, you will be able to see the wire at the top. I'm going to go through one side and come back through the other side. Now before I would go back into the crimp bead and crimp this shut, I need to put the clasp on. So the loop on the clasp, I'm just going to insert the tiger tail into the loop, pull it all the way up, and pull the wire protector on it as well. Then I'm going to take the end of the tiger tail, go through the crimp bead, pull the crimp bead up nice and tight to the top so it sits just under the wire protector, and then you're going to go ahead and crimp it. Now these crimp beads are soft wires, but once you crimp them they become nice and hard and they're not going to move anymore. So I'm going to repeat this one more time. We're going to insert this into the same loop, so I'll put a crimp bead on there going through one side of my wire protector, coming back down on the other side, that's it. And I'm going to need to put this through the same hole, so I'm going to go through the same loop and pull this down. Now when you get to pulling the second wire protector through, it might be a little bit tight, or it might be that one of them is in a way that you have to move it around or move it to the other side, and then you just wiggle it down, and then it will go through. Then put your hand through the crimp bead, pull it all the way up again, and crimp this side as well. So as you can see, I got 2 tiger tails coming on 2 wire protectors coming at the same loop. So now I'm just going to pop this here. I'm going to put 1 crystal bead on each of the tiger tail, and I'm going to start adding my split rings. So as you can see, I'm going to have a split ring on one side and another side, and then there is 2 which is connected to the next jump ring. So the only thing you need to make sure here that you pick them up the same way and you don't twist your jump rings. So I'm going to go through the first one side, and I take the other one through the other side and pull it all the way up. Make sure my ends go through this crystal as well, and as I pull it up on the top of it, don't worry if the ends stick out at this point, because we're going to trim them in a bit. So I just lay it out in front of me, make sure my jump rings are not twisted. I got a split ring on either side of each jump ring, and I'm going to add the beads one by one to either side. Now this is really entirely up to you, because you could add beads to one side and then come back and do the other side. I like to do it at the same time because if my jump ring are twisted, I'm going to see straight away that it doesn't sit right. Let me just add one more. So I'm adding one to one side. Make sure my jump ring is not twisted. Just going through that split ring on the side. Adding another one on the other side. Again, making sure jump ring is not twisted. Going to the split ring, and I'm only adding, like, there's only 3 crystals here. You can already see how the chainmail is forming between the crystals. Now do this all the way to the other end. After your last ring, you need to add another crystal, and I will show you how to put the ends on. So I just went through the last 3 rings here. I'm gonna add 1 crystal at the end to match what I did at the beginning. And then repeat the process of adding the ends. Now, because your magnetic clasp comes apart, it's easier just to leave one side on that and just work with this end rather than curling it around. So I'm going to put a crimp bead on there. Then I'm going to take the wire protector, go through one end, then back around, pull this up and take it through the loop on the clasp. So take the tiger tail through and pull all the way up. Your wire protector goes through as well. Then take your end through your crimp bead, and by holding on to the tail and holding on to the clasp, you should be able to pull this up. Now I want to take it through, this time I'm going to take it to 1 crystal bead, a split ring and another crystal bead. And pull it up tight. Now I could go ahead and crimp this right now, but before I crimp it, I'm going to put the other end on as well, so then I can put it down and make sure that my bracelet is straight and one side is not bigger than the other. So again, I'm going to pick up a crimp bead. I'm going to pick up a wire protector, go through one side, and come back through the other side. And that's it. Then again, I'm going to go to the loop on the clasp. Pull it down. And wiggle the second wire protector through as well. Then in the same way, I'm taking my tiger tail through the crimp bead and a couple of the crystals. And pull it up. So now, to make sure my bracelet is nice and straight, I'm going to put this down on my table, straighten up this end, and then pull on both, straighten up the wire protectors, this and that, this end as well, both ends. And I'm going to pull on the wire, both of the wires and of the tiger tails, holding to the end of the clasp until I'm happy with it that both of them are the same size. Then I'm just going to go ahead and crimp it, crimp one, crimp the other one. Now all it is left to do is to get rid of these ends. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim each one of them off. And these little ones as well, what we had at the beginning. That's it, and your bracelet is ready. I love this color. That's it. It goes very nice in a stacked jewelry as well, so if you like to wear more than one bracelet, but even on its own, it's a perfect for beginners, because the jump rings, if you didn't close them well enough, they're not holding your bracelet up. The tiger tail is, so it's great. Thank you for watching, and see you later.